Hello, TCI church family, Jonathan's Refuge, and everybody from around the globe tuning into the channel tonight. I'm coming also live on Facebook on my own channel. The message is normally at our service, kept around 20 minutes. I'm going to try to keep tonight's message down to 10 or 15. I've been studying with our organization a book, and it's referred to as Secrets of the Stoics. And in particular, it talks about three people that are Stoics, and it talks about learning about the three most influential ancient Stoics: Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca. And we've been going through it. And one of the most beautiful lessons this week, he was talking about welcoming and embracing misfortune. And not too many people want to embrace misfortune. And when you think misfortune, sometimes we think of simple things like I didn't get a job, or I lost a job, or um, my partner and me broke up. Misfortune. I'm talking about like the death of your child, uh, your entire house completely burned to the ground, everything you owned gone. Your spouse dies of a horrible disease, a very painful death. Things that are just like traumatizing. A hurricane comes through and kills everyone in your family but you. Misfortune, real serious misfortune. And so when I think of that, one of the keys that it says here is he says the secret of living like a stoic is to accept that tough times are a natural part of life. So prepare for them accordingly. Listen to this. Everybody knows I'm Mr. Positive. But positive, Mr. Positive doesn't mean you're actually positive all the time. That's a joke. Um, you can't be positive at all times. That's not possible. There is no positive without a negative. Understand me? Do you hear this? There is no positive without a negative. There's no negative without a positive. So there is an ebb and a flow. There is a give and a take in that situation. And so when you think of accepting tough times as part of life, we just have to know it's coming. And then I know some say, oh, well, that's not, I just expect greatness at all times. How's that ever worked out for you? Because I've met and traveled the globe, meeting people and learning stuff like there's no such thing as anyone has just the perfect life. And what we see as perfect is hilarious. Some people think I live a very flamboyant life. They're like, "Oh, I mean, look at the place you're at. You take and go and climb up mountains, right? You go to wonderful events and you travel the world and all these things." And everything I do is for my company. Everything I do is for my organization. I don't even live by myself. I live like a nomad. I have people that live and come and go all the time because it's not mine. I'm just a caretaker of a house. I'm just a caretaker of a property. I am a caretaker of my gifts that have been given to me called children. You're just a caretaker. They're not yours. When I lost my one son, I discovered it wasn't my son. I was just a caretaker for a couple decades. Okay. And so when you start to accept that things are going to happen that are bad, then you're not shocked. I own men's homes, and today we had a call from one of them. You got a relationship problem, and a person's coming over to the house, and they can't be there, and got to call the police and all that kind of stuff. Things happen. One Sometimes people could get upset and say, "Well, how dare that person?" Things happen. Things happen. Yes, we need to be diligent. Yes, we need to be proactive and not bring bad people into situations. We need to do our best to be on guard of that kind of stuff. But the stuff happens. It does. And there's nothing you and I can do about it. I love what Marcus Aurelius said, I'm going to read it. Here is the rule to remember in the future. When anything tempts you to be bitter, don't do it. Not. This is a misfortune. But to bear this worthily is good fortune. Have you ever met someone when someone dies? Like my child died. I I remember when it happened. I can tell you every detail about that moment and that day when I read the letter and I discovered it in a letter. That's how I found out. And I remember I was angry and I expected the whole world to just understand that, right? And then those that didn't know, I had to very bluntly, you don't know what's going on. And that's because I felt entitled, like most people. We feel entitled, like I lost a child. It's a horrible thing, but you feel entitled that it's okay to crap all over the people because you have the worst day of your life, right? Now, think about that for just a second. When you think about that, sorry guys, we got people walking in and out of the doors. So the noises are going off. If you can make sure people don't come in and out of any of the doors, please, I'd appreciate it. Sorry about that. We got people coming in and out of the headquarters up here. So you've got people who think they're entitled to be moody, to be upset, to be angry because they lost a loved one. Well, boo hoo. Think of that for a second. I know you're like, what did you just say? You heard me. Well, boo hoo. So you lost someone. So did another couple thousand people today. You're not the only one. The world doesn't revolve around you. And that's the lesson I had to learn. It's not easy. It's not easy when you think of that. I like this. It says they realize that one of the main reasons we are unhappy is because we always seem to want more than what we have. No matter how many achievements, no matter how big our bank balance is, we're always wanting more, 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 more. Listen, have no expectations. Hear this when I tell you this. Have no expectations is the key to my success. I want you to hear that. I can give you the 10 points to follow. I can show you the path to make a fortune. It's easy to make money. I can close my eyes and money just rains down because I know how to do it. And people call me and they're like, oh, I want you to do that for me. That's the problem. You can't. And I can't do anything for you. You got to follow your path. You've got to make it rain down for you. But here's one of the secrets to it. If you want to hear this, here's one of the secrets. So listen careful. It's not caring. I hear people all the time. My brother, he's dead. Steiner. Steiner's dead, and Steiner. Well, one of the things about Steiner's, he pinched every penny. We worked and made millions together, and he pinched every penny. He had more money than all of us when he passed. That's the sad part. He had more money than all of us. He had his $1 million home paid off. He lived on the country club on the golf course in San Diego. He always had a $100,000 car, paid for sitting in the garage, plus the Cadillac that he'd always loved to drive. And talked about every place on earth he was going to go. But he never did it. No, he just talked about it because he lived almost in a sense of fear, not getting out there. When I went through my first divorce, I started over with nothing. I had $20 to my name. I lost all my fortune, fame, my credibility, my name. I lost everything. And it was the greatest gift that my first wife gave me. What was meant for bad, for evil, became good. I turned it into good with God. You see, God and me work as one. And so when people came to give me problems, I found that that was a gift. I was stripped away of everything. I had nothing. So when I walked out into this new adventure, I had $20 to my name. And everyone's like, so how do you build it up? You don't care about money. Money means nothing to me. Money means absolutely nothing because it means nothing to me. And because I manage my companies in accordance that it means nothing. I understand it's a tool, but it's just simply that it's a tool because it's a piece of paper that says it's worth something. And I put it in one account and then I send it to another account. And then that account says that there's something in there called money. We put a value on that piece of paper. but the value means nothing to me. And I learned that my friends who taught me how to be success had no care of that. Don't get me wrong, they understand the value of a dollar. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it means nothing. Like I don't need $1 million in the account. I don't need a Mercedes to pick me up from the airport. I don't need anything. Do you guys know when I fly that I fly on small little planes in the back seats? I don't pay ever for first class. A lot of people think I do. I never do. I rent economy cars. I stay at Baymont hotels. I stay at Choice Hotels. They're owned a good brand of like Comfort Inns and Comfort Suites and Baymonts. Are they fancy? Nope. They're a couple notches above Motel 6. Sometimes I stay at the big, huge ones because of business meetings and things, but most of the time, no. I travel in a very low key place. I don't go out and spend any more $10,000 on a watch. If you guys come and see the old watch collection, y'all know what I'm talking about. They get $10 to $20,000 per watch, and I used to have almost 100. Okay, do the math. A lot of money on watches. A lot of money. I don't care anymore. Those are foolish trinkets. They come and go. What am I doing out here? I'm here to change the world one person at a time. I want that money so I can buy another yacht, so that I can buy another fifth wheel, another fancy RV, another jet ski, another speedboat, another airplane, something so that I can connect to more guys to give them another carrot to dangle to keep that 0% recidivism rate that we have. The only company on earth that has not lost one guy back to prison in 5 years. I don't care about the fancy things. I bought a place, a headquarters, cost us 1.1 million. When we're done rebuilding it, it'll be a $10 million facility. It's gonna be amazing. But it's old. It's 50 years old like me. It literally is 50 years old like me. And the carpets, well, they're stained all over, but they've been washed. It's clean. I don't care. I got family coming over. I'm giving them the fancy, my room with the fancy bed, right? The big, huge bougie, top of the line, world's best bed on earth. Okay, where am I sleeping? Right on a couch, probably on the deck on a sleeping bag. I don't care. I don't because I have a goal. My goal is to change the world, and if I'm more worried about my comforts than doing that, then I'm not doing what I was meant to do. I'm allowed to have comforts. You're allowed to have comforts. But what the Stoics are saying is they're teaching us that, let's be honest, we set ourselves up for failure. I have to have this high end thing. I have to have this or it doesn't work. My nephew had to, we were talking and he had to get certain pots and pans. He just moved in here. And I said, son, I use paper plates and red solo cups. I've never cooked on thousands and dollars of pans. Do I understand what quality is? Well, folks, please remember I bought watches that were $10,000 to $20,000 for my starting prices. Okay, I understand quality. I love quality. I buy usually some of the finest things in life, but there's things that I just don't really care about. It doesn't matter to me. I eat simple diet. I don't eat a lot of fancy stuff. I don't make fancy meals. I don't do that. If I want a fancy meal, I go to the restaurant and I know great chefs. I go to some of the world's greatest places. I have friends that take me out to these places. I love that. I enjoy a good meal when I want one. And so my nephew, I was explaining the life of the Stoic and what that means and how we don't have to have the finest thing. I love fine cars. You don't have to have a fine car to still enjoy a good drive on a mountain and stuff. You don't have to have the Ferrari is the best for the curves and the Porsche 911 is amazing or this or that. That's probably true. But I can enjoy a little tiny two-door YZ whatever that's small and tiny and compact and go drive down a public street and enjoy the same beauty as though I'm winding through there in a $500,000 Ferrari or Lambo or $1 million Ferrari or Lambo. See, the Stoics, they understood that they realized the reason they were unhappy is because they didn't get what they wanted. And that's because we want stuff. We have expectations. What are your expectations right now? What are they? Are they going to Lake Oswego, which is a fancy lake that my brother Ralphie boy and me love? Lake Oswego. But if it was Lake Oswego and you don't get Lake Oswego, what happens? You get upset. Let me open up for a second on me. I used to get very upset. I want to go to a restaurant. I want to walk into this restaurant. I have in mind the drink that I would like. I have in mind the appetizer I'm going to get. I know the full course of the what I want. I know everything. I'm excited. I'm talking about it to one of my friends. I'm telling them about it. And then I get in the car and we drive an hour to get there. And I even checked real quick, and it does say the hours are open from 5 o'clock till 9 o'clock, but somehow someone forgot to update the website or update the links online. They're closed for renovations. Now I'm pissed off. I'm angry. You ruined my night. The date's going to be a just miserable day now. It's all over. I used to get so mad over that stuff. I'd be like, I'm good. I don't care. I'm not eating. I don't want to eat. I don't need to eat anything. I'm good. I wanted one meal. It's all I wanted. And God bless it. Nothing goes my way. And you know how much chemicals were released in the cortisones in your body that are killing your heart and causing heart disease, and the stress hormones that are being released that are causing you to die on a daily basis? That is your fault and your fault only. I'm upset. I cooked a meal and no one ate it. What the hell's wrong with you? You had an expectation that people were going to do something? Shame on you. That's on you. I have no expectations. I have taken expectations off the plate. It is not easy. I still every once in a while will catch myself going, like I watched today, a couple of the men working on the property. And I was like, okay, why are we sitting? Why are we relaxing? Why are we doing this? I'm not sure. I'm not a man that sits. I'm not a man that just like tinkers. I get a task. I'm going to be out there grinding for 8 hours, 10 hours. I'm going to get the job done. I'm going to ask, what's the start point? What's the end point? And I'm going to make it happen quicker and faster and more efficient than anyone else. Why? Because if you always do that, you will always be employed. You will always be a person people want to be around, and you will always get the invite to the party, folks. That, my friends, is why people have a great life. They have no expectations. Your kids came home, the grades were horrible. You're thinking in your head, I hope they get A's, I hope they get A's. And then they get back and they got, D's, and you're upset and angry. I hope I passed my test. I hope I passed my test. I'm Mr. Positive. It's tattooed on my wrist, literally right under the watch. Mr. Positive. Live positive. But saying it doesn't mean it happens. Pretending. I had a family member recently who's not in my life, and it was always, you got to pretend. We'll stay. It's gonna be there. It's okay to say it's not gonna be there. It's okay to say the boat sunk. It's okay, because there's no positive without the negative. If you try to live positive without any negative in your life, I'm here to tell you, your life will not function. It'll be a miserable, just horrible existence, because it doesn't exist without the other. And you're trying to make it work without it. You're going to have to suffer. Just go to the gym. I was at the gym and I was pulling in some biceps, and I'm having some problems because I busted a hand. I broke some bones. And so here I am, and I'm trying to work out. And I tore a little of the muscle in my bicep, and it felt good. And I was like, yes, I tore that muscle just right. And the guy next to me was like, dude, you tore your muscle? I was like, yeah, it feels awesome. It's like, I don't think you're supposed to tear your muscle. You're supposed to leave here feeling good. And I went, no, dude, you don't even understand how to work out then. Every time you work out, you should stretch your muscle so it actually physically tears the fibers apart. And then the new protein that you're eating, if you're doing it right, goes in and builds a more strong muscular fiber in that muscle. And then you got a stronger muscle. You see, you got to tear apart to grow. Growth means tearing apart things. That could be your emotions, it could be your body. In the case of a muscle, it's ripping the flesh apart, literally. There is no growth without having the pain that comes with it. We all remembered growing up, the bones used to hurt. You'd be like, Mom, Dad, it just hurts. Yep, that's part of growing. You got growing pains. I run companies all the time, all over. We're running corporations and nonprofits. And what's funny is everyone thinks, oh, you have a flawless life. They have no clue. I wake up with more crisis. I have more money problems. I have more employee problems. I have more personal problems. More money, more problems. More money, more problems, right? I have no expectations. I don't wake up going, I just want one day where there's no problems. They don't exist. That's a fairy tale. Listen to me. Do you want riches? Do you want to be the guy and gal who God says, hey, this guy is highly favored? Everyone always says that. I want to be highly favored. I don't want to be. I am highly favored. Listen to that. There's a difference. I don't want to be. I am. So I'm not going to want anything. That's just wishful thinking. I'm going to be blessed. I'm going to be blessed for a real simple reason. I'm going to be blessed because I'm going to personally go ahead and I'm going to make sure I'm blessed because God gave me the ability to do that. I don't need everyone always says I'm waiting on the Lord. Why are you waiting on the Lord? The Lord's been waiting on you. Did you hear me? The Lord's been waiting on you to get your ass up and get moving. I got guys that live in our homes and they have to get jobs or else they're out on the street. I got one of my friends that he's back inside the system and he's trying to figure it all out. And I'm like, listen, you don't get a like, oh, can I borrow? I'll owe you a few weeks. I'll get the rent. No, you don't pay it. You're out of the program. It's that simple. We give you months to work and get jobs. And some people are like, well, I won't take that job. Folks, when I got out of prison, let me tell you what I did. I took 30 days and I interviewed at 30 places, and not one of the 30 places would hire me because I'm a convict. Even though I was one of the most successful men in this country, blew my mind. Blew my mind how I was judged. But I never stopped. I didn't complain. I couldn't get the jobs I wanted, so I went to lesser jobs, and then I didn't get them, and I went to lesser. And I kept going until I became a temp agent guy. It was a temporary agency where you show up and there's like 50 guys standing outside and they might give you a job and then it's just for the day and then you come home. It's a minimum of 4 hours. And here I am, was one of the youngest vice presidents of a publicly traded company, and I'm on the line with most of the guys were doing meth in the parking lot, snorting coke and drinking booze because they're alcoholics and drug addicts. That's where I went to work. It's not beneath me. Are you kidding me? That's not beneath me. I turned that into a six-figure income, worked 3 jobs, and built my whole fortune back with 20 bucks to my name because of that technique. No expectations. It's okay that the world's not going to go my way today because it doesn't go my way any day, nor does it go your way any day. The world just goes, it just turns every day. Tonight, the moon will rise because the earth turns. Tomorrow, the sun will rise because the earth turns. And it doesn't care that you didn't make money or made money today. It doesn't care that your girlfriend dumped you or didn't dump you. It doesn't care that your child died or didn't die. The world and the universe doesn't stop. You're not the center of it. Take the expectations off, understand you're not the center of the universe, and all of a sudden, this opening will hit you. I'm going to wrap it up, and I want you to understand that when you look at the concept of embracing misfortune, and what I mean by that is when jarred unavoidably by circumstance, revert at once to yourself and don't lose the rhythm more than you can help. You'll have a better grasp of harmony if you keep going back to you. Being yourself no matter what will help you stay strong. Don't lose who you are. Most people don't even know who they are. That's the problem. I didn't get to this point without having to lose what I thought was me. I thought I knew who I was. Well, I was the most successful and I got the genius brain. Everyone should listen to me. Don't you understand? I'm the genius. Blah blah blah. No, it didn't. And I had to let it all go. And once I let it go, everything started to flow. You see, once you don't have any care for it, it flies to you. Once you don't want it nor need it, it comes after you. Have you ever noticed people go, I wasn't even looking for the movie today, and the movie popped up. I wanted this. And because when you want something, it's never there. And when you don't, it just shows up. Remember that. I love you guys. God bless you. Live positive. But this week, as we live positive, I'm serious. Go out and get the book, Secrets of the Stoics, How to Live an Undefeatable Life. God bless.